There's one person I can't stand in life. It's deep sleepers. Listen up, because if you're a deep sleeper, I have beef with you. You think you could just sleep through the whole night? Oh, I can knock out right away. I could sleep through anything. I do meditation before I go to sleep. I set the temperature lower. I do the blue light filters, no tech. I just cannot sleep through the whole night. Even if you are a deep sleeper, there still is one thing that I might have on you, which is a capacity to do biphasic sleep. Now, what is biphasic sleep? Biphasic sleep is a sleep cycle in which you sleep for about 4 hours, you get up in the middle of the night for maybe an hour or two, diddly-daddle, and then you go back to sleep for another 4. Now, why would I do this? So this seems to be how people have slept pre-modernity.
So look, I do my research. There's just really this guy and this guy who've tried this thing. And then the rest of the videos are like sub 200 views where it's really not clear if they're doing biphasic sleep or some other polyphasic modality. Now, this guy, he kind of vibed with it. All right, this guy right here, he hated this. Why am I so confident that this might work? You gotta click on these and go to the comments. I was expecting to click on these videos and see these comments say things like, oh wow, I never heard of that. That was cool. No, it was filled, teeming with comments, all saying the same thing. This is how I live. And the fact that so many people live this way, so many people operate by biphasic sleep, this begs the question.
Maybe my body has been fighting this monophasic modern cycle, and I might be somewhere on the distribution, the bell curve of people who are extremely biphasic, and I just can't make it through a monophasic night. Is that the case for me? That's what I want to know.
All right, so it's the first night. I got up about 10 minutes ago. It's 4:27 a.m. right now.
I went into it with this sense of adventure. Even though I'm not going anywhere, I'm just going to bed.
If I take out the melatonin, I take out the coffee, what does my body decide? And will it be something whack? Because I don't know. Am I biphasic or do I just have sleep problems?
There's this curiosity about how is this going to turn out, reverting back to an old way, like living among the ancients. Because I've been obsessed with evolutionary psychology, and like this is a way to pay homage to that.
I think in the spirit of sleeping like a caveman, I'm thinking that kind of like simulate a fireplace. You woke up, you tended the fire, then you went back to sleep. So getting that really low light, really warm light.
All right, it's the morning after. So according to my watch, I slept about 7 hours. The second sleep was very fractured. And it took me a while to fall in. Like it took me about 30 minutes to actually get into that second sleep. I do feel awake. I don't know how rested I feel. I'm gonna go out and do my run. I typically do this run when it's pitch black out. So I feel like I'm behind in the day, but I shouldn't, because I'm going to get to wake up in the middle of the night and get to handle other stuff. It's still the same amount of hours, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so the biggest thing people talk about when it comes to the biphasic sleep is this sense of calm and tranquility in the night. I've been a degenerate before, staying up to 3, 4 a.m. And so I'm thinking, I've been up in the middle of the night, like, I just feel lazy and I want to go back to sleep. Are these people just super spiritual hippies tripping balls, or was there some truth to this? Was I going to feel that calm and tranquility of the night?
All right, popping in for a quick comment on my meditation session. Felt a little trippy. I'm not someone who gets a lot of mental imagery. I don't really have a vivid imagination. And it's like I could feel that there was a lot just trying to like burst through. There's a certain blanket of the night that feels like really comfortable. Like an emotional warmth at this time of night.
If I were to put into just one really hyphenated word what my biphasic experience was, it would be slowly devolving disaster. And I'll explain why. But first, I know everyone's curious. What do you actually do in the middle of the night?
I think I'm gonna journal. I might do some reading. I might finish off with some reading. Start with some journaling. I finished a journaling session.
So as you can see, it's not exactly a party. You're not going to be inviting people over. You're definitely not going to be playing the drums. You know, blue light, I don't want to be staying up till like 48 o'clock. Frankly, like you will be sleepy. So it's not like you're going to be at peak productivity.
I feel really good. I'm excited for this time now. Like this time that's just for me. With this routine, I feel very mentally rested. I feel very emotionally rejuvenated. The one question mark is, do I feel physically rested? Because my joints and my muscles, this is not the best way to physically recover. I don't know. There's some confounding variables here.
All right, so clearly there are some benefits to doing this. Peacefulness, definitely way less sleep anxiety when insomnia is built in to the routine. But is any of this really sustainable long term? The schedule is kind of out of control. I'm in bed like 11 hours a night.
Midday update. Look, I'll be honest with you. I feel tired. I do. It's been going really well the last few days. I'll say this is the first day where it's not just a physical tiredness, but an actual like sleepiness. I feel drowsy. I have a few suspects.
This experiment was about doing what was natural. I cut out caffeine from my diet. So am I having caffeine withdrawal? You might be asking, Ibrahim, why would you introduce these extra variables? This seems like kind of shitty science, playing around with all these different things. We don't know what the biphasic sleep affects and what it doesn't. What you don't realize is that it gets even shittier.
The other factor that also further complicates this is the melatonin.
Look, guys, I know I'm not getting a Nobel for this, but I do take 300 micrograms, just a little itty bitty of melatonin. Coffee keeps me up, melatonin puts me to sleep. Have I burned myself by having withdrawal on both ends?
So I'm starting to worry that that's actually been the case this whole week, but it's only been today that it's catching up to me. Have I been racking up the sleep debt? That's the question.
So the answer here is actually quite nuanced. Actually, it's just yes. So this whole thing was starting to pile up, and jokes aside about all of that science stuff, I could not deal with this. For me, sleep is a foundation of my entire day, life, attitude towards existence.
One thing that I did not realize is that, let's say I'm like emotionally distressed and I have insomnia. With biphasic sleep, I don't have to fall asleep once, I have to fall asleep twice. Is it helping improve my sleep? Funny enough, my sleep scores and metrics are up. At the same time, my body doesn't always agree with those sleep scores, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It was sapping my body so much that I had to pull the plug.
I'll be honest, I just want to go back to sleep. I finished a journaling session, so I did get up and do something, but I don't necessarily feel more peaceful or at ease tonight. In fact, I was constantly stopping while I was journaling because I just zone out and I want to go to sleep. That's it today. It might be a final day.
I have to say I was pretty bummed out by the end of this experiment, especially having cut it short. You know, I was picturing in my head, I'm gonna do this for a month. Is this completely useless for you if you are monophasic? If you are someone who maybe does toss and turn a little bit, but you know you can't do the biphasic lifestyle, is this something that's just a cool trivia fact of how people used to sleep? I would recommend having the occasional biphasic night. And I don't mean occasional as in like once a week or once a month. I'm talking you're on vacation and you have nowhere to be, you can take your sweet time, get up in the middle of the night, relax, journal, bubble bath, do whatever you want to do as a novelty to have once or twice a year. And I know there's probably some well-meaning keyboard warrior, armchair quarterback, doctor person typing away in the comments, Ibrahim, you might have undiagnosed sleep apnea. Most people are not diagnosed. You need to get tested, and you can't do the at-home tests. Those are not accurate. You need to do the lab test. Look, I got tested. I don't have sleep apnea. I just have sleep problems. As I was moving on from this, and I thought that this would be the end of this story, I was skimming around Chris Williamson's 3.25 million subscriber Q&A. In reading the timestamps, it was the second to last question. This is the one that I need to know the answer to.
El Kali, I heard you mention about your bladder training. As I have to get up in the night and have done for so long, I noticed that I was going to the bathroom more frequently. I went to see my GP in the UK. He said, you wouldn't believe how many men have come in to see me that have got the same thing. And now I've got the bladder of a fucking world champion.
When I heard about this idea of bladder training from him, it's not about the specifics of the bladder training. It's about the idea that there's still open questions. There's also this adventurousness and like, I'm gonna put my body through this and I'm going to see how it responds. I'm gonna record the data. I got the sleep metrics going. And look, bladder training, not dinner table talk, but I'm gonna be talking about it. I'm gonna start training my bladder because that is the next part of this adventure. It's built on a legacy of sleep apnea tests, of varying melatonin doses, and it will continue the lineage. That wraps up my journey. If you liked hearing about my experience, leave a like, comment down below. If you want to know about my bladder training, the strict regimen that I'm about to put myself on and how that impacts my sleep, comment down below, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.